Hello, this is Mesh from Downtime Distractions, and welcome to this first look review of BattleSouls. Now with our first look reviews, please check the description below for specific detail on the difference between our first look reviews versus our full reviews. So what is this game? So BattleSouls is a fast-paced PvP action game that is free to play. Currently, this is going to be released on Steam and it's going to be in beta, so this should evolve as it goes forward. It has a very interesting gameplay mechanic that lets you swap out between classes whilst you are in-game and in battle. So it's developed and published by Leap. This is their first PC title. Previously, they've only done mobile games. They mentioned when they first started out making games a couple of years ago that they'd never done it before and mobile felt like a good place to practice. And their end goal has always been PC games. And with BattleSoul, this is their first foray onto the PC platform. So this title is coming to Steam, as I said, on the 13th of May. And it will be free. It has in-app purchases, but currently it's all cosmetic related. So let's have a quick talk about the in-game currency, as it's an important topic we need to discuss. So currently you can play for free, as I said, but you can also access the shop. So as you progress in the game, you gain levels. With those levels, you unlock little portraits. In the future, it looks like you'll be able to unlock a level booster to help speed up that unlock of those portraits. Also, in the shop, you can buy more portraits and kill animations. But there's a few more options as well, but they're currently grayed out for me. So they are emotes, pets, and bundles. And that's a pretty good summary of the shop in its current state. So Leap have made this title on the Unity engine. Now you may be wondering why they're coming out to beta when they have the opportunity to use the Steam Early Access. And I raised that question with them, and they came back and mentioned that I guess the reason they're not using Steam Early Access is they think the open beta model best fits the state of their game. I mean, even though they feel that BattleSouls is in an early version, they also believe that it's a product that will keep evolving, and as they keep updating it, it will be hard to identify the point where it no longer becomes out of early access. So they said the early access wasn't for them, and it kind of makes sense. Gives them their own time, they can continually develop it and stay in beta for as long as they need. But then it gets a bit tricky as well. I mean, how long can a game stay in beta? But that's another topic. But yeah, that's the reason they're not in early access. Okay, so just before we get into looking at the UI and how you choose your character and how the game plays, the story of the driver, well, it doesn't really have a story in it. It's just a multiplayer action in a medieval style world with some nice characters. Currently there's 5 unique classes. They are a tank, a pirate, a wizard, a healer, and he's like a demon character. And the game modes that they currently just have one, and that is destroying the crystals, and to do that you need to capture the inhibitor. So let's look at the options menu, and then we'll move on to UI, and I'll just show you some basic gameplay, and also how the characters synergize between each other when you're swapping them out in battle. Okay, so options menu. So here we are in graphics. Not too bad. You've got things like resolution, terrain detail, object detail, grass particles, anti-aliasing, texture quality, shadows, full screen option as well, depth of field, turns off blur, and bloom on and off, VSync. So not a bad amount in here. There's always room for more, but that's pretty good. Audio, that's also not too bad. You know, separate slider for most things. So that's quite nice. And controls all fully rebindable, and you have mouse sensitivity as well. So overall, not actually bad options menu. So let's jump in and I'll try and show you that synergy between the classes and how you utilize that. Alright, so this is the loadout screen. Now these are the 5 heroes we currently have access to. Obviously more are coming. So we have the mage, the warrior, the healer, the ranged class, and a melee assassin. I guess you could call it that. So you choose the loadout you want. So these are the 3 characters you can jump into and automatically change to in a fight, and also at any time in the match. You can also go back to the loadout screen and swap things as well, just to fine tune what you want to do. Now, interesting part about it, I mean, it's interesting enough that you can swap between the classes and do different things, but they also have an ability which is called the change ability. So if you change to the healer, she sends out a massive healer around herself, so heals allies around herself. If you change to the mage, he sends an AoE blast all around himself that slows and damages enemies. And they all have different ones. So that component is really interesting, and you can really mix things up. So with their abilities, plus their change ability. So you can make nice little combos. But as I said, I think they could really build on this. This component is really underutilized, and I think there's a lot of potential here. But let me just quickly show you, and then we'll wrap it up with a bit of a summary. Okay, well this is just against bots, but it's a good point to show you, I guess. So here we are, firing with just basic attack here. We've got a bit of a bigger attack there. So I've got a kill on that bot there. And okay, so we're getting a little low on health, so swap to the healer. She does a nice little heal on us, and approach this person here. So her basic attack is just healing everybody. She's also got her secondary, so that didn't do a lot of damage. So let's change out of her and do some damage to these guys. And I'm a bit low on health again, so swap back to the healer, and you can just continue on like that. So utilizing the change abilities and the different classes, very nice, very nice. I've had some really good fights with other players. Against the bots, it's not the greatest, as their bots don't change their class at the moment. But when you actually find other players online, it's quite fun and challenging as well. Nice little combos you can come up with. So let's try and find another bot, and I'll just try and show you again. Oh, here's another one down here. So I do a bit of range damage. Oh, there's one right here. Okay. And oh, gee, that's a bit easy. Okay. Ooh, doing some damage to me, so get a heal on there, and I'll chuck that. Try and do some major damage with the mage class, and they're down, and back to heal. So you can really mix things up, and as I will say, I really like it. I think it has great potential to be very in depth, but at the moment it's just not quite there. I do like it, and I think it's a great introductory game for games like this, the kind of the FPS MOBA style games, because it's simplistic. So before we get into a summary, I just want to briefly touch on what the developers have advised, what's on the horizon, and their roadmap. So this is available to look at on Steam, on the Steam forums, if you want to take a look for yourself. I'll link that below. So in the short term, they have a hero waiting in the wings. So they're just fine-tuning it. So at some point in the near future, hopefully we'll have 6 heroes to choose from instead of 5. They also have another hero in the planning stages, so that's quite interesting as well. Also in the short term, we have more maps coming, hopefully a tutorial, improvements on the AI, adding pets, more kill effects, and updating the animation, and a few other little tweaks here and there. And onto the long-term component of the roadmap. So top of the list there is ranked play. So that's interesting. When I hear ranked play, I kind of refer to the Smite ranked play. So that's a competitive mode with a ladder system. So very interesting there. So we also have more game modes coming, which I think is very important and necessary. More heroes, more maps, and a community map editor, which is also pretty interesting. So I appreciate all this information. I like the roadmap that they've given us a bit of an idea going forward, but this is all unconfirmed. Things could fall through, things could change, we're not sure. You know, so you got to move cautiously when you're reading stuff like this. But anyway, let's move on to the summary, and let's start with graphics. So being that this is in beta, I mean, I'm going to drop suggestions every now and again as well, so just bear that in mind. So it is a nice style graphically. I find it very reminiscent of, I guess, if you want to put Smite, Team Fortress, and WoW together, smush them up and simplify it a bit. That's kind of the feeling I get with this game. So I do like the cartoony, light-hearted design. I think that it will appeal to a younger gamer audience as well. So they could really improve on a lot of animations. So the animations that I've seen which could be improved upon would be things like a couple of death scenes there. You just float through the ground, the character floats down. When you get hit by an explosive round, there's no physics, it's not natural. They move just, you know, straight upright, fly backwards. It doesn't feel natural, it doesn't look good, but they have mentioned they are working on the animation. But overall, I do like the look of the game. I think it's quite nice. And for the audio, it's pretty good across the board. Nothing stands out amazingly, but nothing stands out in a negative fashion as well. There's always room for improvement, better asset quality, better weapons. I mean, it's always good to get a weapon that feels really powerful. And that feel of a weapon is really enhanced by the sound of it. So if you have a really powerful sound on a weapon when you're firing it, it makes a big difference. So that's my audio. I mean, it's not bad across the board, but it could be improved. So the gameplay and the combat, I think it's pretty good. I like my time with this game. I find the swapping between the classes very nice. It's a fantastic concept. I just think it needs to be built upon more. I also want to say as well, I think this game is a good stepping stone into other games as well. Say if you want to get into MOBAs, but you're just a bit shy of, probably the toxic community and just the learning curve, something like this might be a good step for you. It's going to really appeal to the younger gamers because of that simplicity and the style of it. The combat's very easy to get into. It's easy to master. I mean, you could look at that very positively, but also in a bit negative as well. For the intermediate to the advanced gamers, this might be too simplistic for you. But I really think that the concept is fantastic. It just needs a bit more tweaking and a bit more added to it, really to give it that nice polish and a real depth around that combat. I do recommend this title because it's free and it's a bit of fun, and as I said, it seems like it's a real nice beginner's game if you want to jump into it. Okay, so being that this is free to play, let's briefly touch upon the business model which they have currently implemented. And as I've shown you, it's a shop. So in that shop currently we have 2 areas unlocked, and they are kill animations and portraits. So the kill animations pop up after you kill somebody. So currently there's a little grave that pops up, and there's one which is a cake. They range from a price of US dollars $5.49 and $6.99. And the portraits, so little avatars that stick next to your name in game and also in the menu system, they range from $1.49 to $2.99 US dollars. For me, that's all far too expensive. I don't think I'm being overly parsimonious with this. Let me know your thoughts. If you think this is too expensive, put comments down below. Or if you've actually purchased some stuff in here, let me know as well. But for me, it's on par with other games of a similar model, and I don't think an indie title in such early access in beta can really justify that price being so similar. I think until they get a lot more content out, you want to have that price a bit lower, because people might get bored of this game quite quickly, therefore they'll be less likely to spend that money. So you really should offer it at a cheaper rate, which is my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts below as well. I guess the other major thing as well with this title is the AI is not very good at the moment, but they are working on fixing that. The AI doesn't change classes, so if you're fighting them, they're always going to be the wizard. But the other flaw, as I've mentioned with other games like this, being multiplayer only, and I know exactly why they've done that, because this is, that's the core to their game. But the downside with that, being an indie title, multiplayer only, things could not end well. If the game doesn't take off, you really alienate people, because if you've just got a slow amount of people trickling in, they'll jump on the servers, have a go, and be like, well, there's no one else playing this game, I'm not going to play it either. So hopefully they get a really big bang launch and get a good sized community into it straight away and get people keen, and then the community exists and they get that feedback and it all works nicely. But I just want to warn you about that. I guess it's not the end of the world, because this is free, so there's no harm in trying it. It's just be wary of that. If you get excited about it, it might end up being you playing versus the bots. So just something to be wary of. And I hope I'm wrong as well. It would be nice if this hits the sweet spot on the Steam page on release, and it has a nice big community following, and it continues along its way. And they provide good feedback, and the community grows and grows. So, I guess suggestions, I've put a lot in my review already, but just things like more game modes, more classes, fixed animations, lower the price of the items in the shop, and add just a little bit more to the combat. It's fantastic concept, swapping between classes and the power-ups between them, but add something else in there would add the extra depth for me to keep me wanting to play more, to really master it, and then actually destroy an enemy team with skill, as opposed to kind of a spammy fight. So I'll leave it here. So this has been BattleSouls. I hope you check it out, and I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you liked it for some more content. Give me a comment below. Also, thumbs up if you liked it, and thumbs down if you didn't. Positive and negative feedback is always appreciated as well, as long as it's constructive. And I'll see you next time.